to actually, I got the trunk set up here, but so just to kind of show you the idea here is I'm going to see if I can get off the badging, see how good that stuff's on there. I might have to go pick up a new heat gun to help with that. I'm going to get this lock out, and then I'm actually going to be filling that and shaving it, basically, is what's going to happen. I'll still be able to open the trunk from inside the car from the standard just lift latch on the driver's side. But, you know, I was thinking about maybe getting a fiberglass trunk or getting this the Sabin carbon trunk and maybe just painting it for the sake of weight, but really that's about $1,000 that I feel like could probably be better spent elsewhere, you know, from the difference in saving a couple pounds maybe, but not a big deal because it's not a race car. It'll be fun, take it to the track, but it's just gonna be nice and it's gonna be what I want. So gonna fill that, and then that'll be testing basically to fill some of these other holes. So excuse the heater as it fires up. So I've got the trunk up here, and I'm actually gonna, I think I'm just gonna disassemble it completely. I'm gonna remove the rear latch assembly. Obviously all this stuff is super clean because it was on the inside of the car, not the outside of the car. Even though the outside of the car is still, you know, for a car that came from the Midwest, it's pretty clean. Obviously all this hardware still looks brand new, but definitely not. I'm never any good at getting these latches out, but let's see if I can do it right without breaking it. And I did. Sweet. Cool. So there's the latch. You know, clean that up before it goes back in eventually. It's pretty clean. I always have to figure out what that does, but I don't really know. Either way, we'll figure it out. And then the latch that's in here, I doubt that I'm going to be able to show, but let's see, because I can't even get my head in there. Let's see if I can get in there. It might just be a clip. Yeah, so I need a screwdriver and I'll just try that out. All right. Just got some screwdrivers here. See if I can get this thing out. And one piece. Without breaking it. So I actually had just like a C-clip in there. Easy push with the screwdriver and it should come right out. So I'm gonna move the trunk back down and there's the lock cylinder that was in there. She gone. And now I'll show you guys what the hole looks like basically. So we got that is what we're gonna fill. So I'm gonna have to take the paint off. We've got just a little 90-degree wheel until I get my actual compressor, that'll have to do, but it'll do fine. And that'll be the start, and then I might just maybe even steal Jen's hair dryer and use some fishing line to get the letters off. But I want to start with this just to start burning some metal on this thing. Fill that. I've got some filler sheet metal. I think it's actually, what is it? 22 gauge. So it should be fairly close to what the actual body panel is, if not maybe even a little thicker. And just a fresh air hose, which I'm gonna need for the garage anyway. And I got some tin snips from Home Depot, about 60 bucks. That should be in the game. And another thing a lot of people don't take advantage of too is, like, you know, getting the little wheels for your 90 scuff pads, abrasive pads. You're gonna use these a ton, you know, especially when doing this basic bodywork stuff. Drives me nuts. I mean, I don't know a ton about bodywork. I've seen it done. I know what the right way is and what the wrong way is, but like when I watch these other guys, not to mention names, on YouTube doing their projects, and they've got huge dents or creases and they fill them with Bondo. It drives me absolutely nuts because, you know, obviously you want as little Bondo as needed, and they fill this stuff with Bondo. It's like they back it and they Bondo over it. It's not like you're doing drywall in the house. Not that that's the right way to do it either, but it needs to be filled with metal, and then, you know, get as close to perfect as you can, and then you can Bondo over it, and you know, you can block it out and make it perfect. But that's a permanent fill instead of just putting Bondo in there, where if someone pokes their hole or pokes their finger on it, you know, that could go through it sometime, you know, potentially after it's painted. You definitely don't want that to happen. So let's get going here, figure out the camera setup. This will be my first time recording anything like this, so I'm pretty excited, but this will take me a minute to get set up, so I'll probably speed this up a little bit, but let's do it. All right, guys, so I've got this pretty much set up. I've got my angle grinder, gotta put a fresh one on, but my little 9-degree little grinder, and then I'm gonna wheel the welder out because I'm gonna obviously need that. So get that set up once we're ready there. But we'll just bring that down to the bare metal first, and then we'll get the welder actually fired up and ready to go. So I'll change out the pads there. These are awesome because you just you know, half turn and they're on, half turn they're off. And like I said, that you know, whole pack of pads, I think we got like probably like 30 or 40 pads. I think it was only like maybe 20 bucks. So it should last for a while. But my new hose, of course, I forgot my sealing tape. This really nice hose, actually. It's Husky. It's a 50-foot line. I think it was about 40 bucks, but it's heavy duty, and you can tell it's like the real rubber. So this thing should last for a while. I think I've got the tank at about 75 PSI right now. Shouldn't really need safety glasses. I got my regular glasses on, but just gonna go ahead and take this down to bare metal. It'll probably burn some of the other paint off anyway, but either way, again, it's all getting repainted. Gotta get this crap off too, but we'll start here, have some fun with it. So. Sorry for the compressor, guys. Like I said, I got my little tiny compressor that is kind of doing the job for now. But see, I brought that down to bare metal, so that way my welder's gonna get a good ground, which actually I'm probably gonna maybe clean off another spot on here, maybe a corner or something, maybe even one of those bolts to get a good ground. I think this should be the only hole that I have to fill. Realistically, I think the badges, they shouldn't have any holes in there, but if they do, I'll figure it out. Let's see. Perfect. Let's see what we got now. Here we go. First corner in, and I'll show you guys kind of what that looks like. It's not pretty right now, but again, all we're trying to do is build it up and hold it all together. So you guys can kind of see it's got a little tack on there. The rest of the stuff I can fill in, that's no big deal, but like I said, that middle portion, you wanna actually have some structure there. This little Dorito guy is coming off, but just so you could see, I wish I had a better tripod for you guys right now, but this will be fine. We'll get better. We'll adapt. But I said, as you start from one side, you want to make sure that you can adjust. So you want to make sure that you can fill in that gap, and you can fill in that gap. Make sure that it's all perfectly flush, and then we're gonna, we'll grind it out. We'll fill it in where we need to. It's least little amount of heat as possible, but we're gonna get it done. So let's see. That's looking pretty good. Gonna have to still get those down a little bit more, but this tiny air tank is kind of a pain to deal with. But then you can see I'm gonna have to fill in some of those bigger holes. So this is gonna be way stronger. It's not gonna give way like it would if it was just Bondo sitting in there. So that's gonna be a way better bond for me. Pretty, but we're gonna fill in some of these holes. The heater's probably gonna fire on here in a minute, so we'll probably have to take another quick break, but I'll edit that out. Here is the final product there. You can still see a few low spots. It looks like a pinhole. It's really not though, but pretty smooth, but you can definitely tell that this surface is lower than this surface. So realistically, when this thing, you know, gets all sanded down for paint eventually anyway, this is all gonna be filled in. So really the structure that we wanted is there. And it's just a matter of, you know, prepping it for paint. And that's gonna be kind of the next step in finishing it off. So, you know, throw a little Bondo over it, kind of block it out, you know, just, you know, kind of roughly. That way when it goes to paint, it's not gonna be even noticeable really that it's there. So next step is to get all the emblems off. Obviously the trunk's upside down, that's why it looks so funky, but that's the next step to it. But that's gonna be it for now, guys. Thanks for hanging out, learning with me, and we'll see you next time. Later.